All right, y'all. I gotta be completely honest. I've been stuck on this Mobb Deep Infinite album. It's really the only album lately that I've been in the mood to play. That's just how dope the project was for me. However, I'm aware the show must go on. We have to review new music. Unfortunately, there were three new singles this past week that caught my attention. All right, so this week we had a song that dropped from the Big L project featuring Nas. We had a single from Ransom and Primo, and also a Big Daddy Kane track produced by the RZA. And I'm gonna share my thoughts on those today. But make sure to smash that like button. Also subscribe if you haven't. But I'm just gonna start with the Big L and Nas track entitled "You Ain't Got a Chance." So this was the first single from Big L's soon-to-be posthumous release that is dropping on Mass Appeal on Halloween. This features Nas, who was the talk on a lot of social media accounts due to his insanely fire verse in which he body bagged it. Now, the Big L vocals were obviously taken from a freestyle. Some of you may have heard them at some point before, but it was new for me. But in this video, I'm not going to dissect bars or read off any of my favorite quotables. I'm just going to talk about my overall feelings for these tracks and focus a lot on the production. So Big L did what he did. The verse was confident and witty in a typical braggadocious Big L way. And Nas, he left Earth, giving us another masterclass. But look, I really do want to talk about the instrumental because I did hear and see some people criticize the production a bit, and I understand why. So the instrumental here, it's just serviceable. It's semi-gritty and up-tempo. You could tell they were aiming for that East Coast riding on a subway train late night feel. It's not a bad beat, but it's also not very memorable on its own. You could say it's a little generic. However, I do think though that the lyricism is so great that the beat unfortunately didn't need to be as strong. I mean, ideally we want both. But I mean, this makes the focus so clearly on Big L's and Nas's verses. And that's more so the selling point here than the production. And who knows, maybe this will sound better in the context of the track list when the album finally drops. But let me know in the comment section if you are excited for this Big L posthumous project, and also what you thought about this particular beat. So the next one I do want to talk about is the Ransom and DJ Premier produced Amazing Graces. Now this was the first single that has dropped from that Ran and Primo project, which is also scheduled to drop Halloween. So that's looking to be a crazy release weekend. Well, let me just start with the beat. Now there has been a lot of disapproval lately for current Primo production. There are those who are concerned that DJ Premier is washed and that he no longer has what it takes to be looked at as a top producer in 2025. I know there were a lot of comments in my video alone for the Rock Marcy Primo project that consisted of folks who were just displeased with the production. After having read some of those comments, it did make me stop for a second and ask myself, wait, am I being too generous here? Or am I missing something? Because I didn't think the production was that bad at all. Look, I'm not saying it was mind-blowing either, but I still thought it was solid. So now Primo's producing for Duffel Bag Grand, which on paper reads like a hip-hop head's dream, right? And interestingly enough, we are scheduled to get two Primo produced projects that are scheduled to drop within months from one another from two of arguably the greatest rappers currently, Ransom and Nas. So the instrumental that you have here is extremely gutter. It's just this off-kilter minimalist piano and those string stabs that we would expect from Primo. As a whole, I think it's a very solid instrumental, better than that Big L beat, but it is still Ransom who is the MVP nonetheless. What I will say though is that it's not a sleepy instrumental, if that was a concern. And even if you do feel the beat is missing something, which you might not entirely be wrong about, I think you would still have to agree that there is this gutter project staircase quality to this that I think makes it redeeming. Possibly like it could have been an older Primo instrumental that had been dusted off from that Gangstar era, something that never made it off the cutting room floor. There's nothing pretty about it. It's downright ugly, but the Big Daddy Kane scratches were they were a big highlight for me. Ransom, of course, bodied it, and without getting into the bars too much, I really liked the Gangstar album title scheme that he had, and also he did pay homage to Jay at the beginning. And this is Duffel Bag Ran showing how masterful he is as this mic technician. Now look, I'm aware that there are going to be some who strongly dislike this beat, but I didn't find myself feeling that way, at least. Of course, you could say Primo has had way better instrumentals. I mean, that's fair. But I also think there's a thin line between holding an artist to a very high standard and then clinging to the past. And let me be crystal clear with this one. We should never lower the bar just because it's our favorite artist or producer. But at the same time, I am of the mindset that it's a little healthy and practical to be a little open-minded about what's actually realistic to expect from an artist in 2025. Take the Ghostface album, for instance. When I compared it to Supreme Clientele 1, I was immediately disappointed from the project. But when I shifted the focus and decided to look at it as a new Ghostface album, then it wasn't a bad release at all, and you could even say it was dope. That being said, I'm not pressuring people into liking this Primo beat or trying to tell you what you should like, as the way we all interpret music is so subjective. But I do think being a little open-minded might help with some of these mass appeal releases. And now for the third track, which I'd say is the best as far as production is concerned out of the three, and it is the Big Daddy Kane's Open Your Eyes, produced by the RZA. This is the first single from an upcoming Juice Crew EP produced by the RZA that I think caught all of us by surprise. I don't think anyone was aware that RZA was going to be producing for this legendary crew, but it's a pleasant surprise. Obviously, RZA seems to be taking a page from Nas's mass appeal playbook, but this time tapping into those 80s MCs a little more so. But I am really looking forward to this EP as well. So this track, Open Your Eyes, it's a very conscious song, a very empowering song, and Big Daddy Kane is dropping a lot of knowledge here. Over this regal boom bap beat from RZA that has that golden era quality. It's smooth, it's warm, it's mature and classy, and some might view it as the best RZA beat we've had in a long time. So it doesn't have the quintessential woo RZA feel, but it shouldn't anyway since it's made for Juice Crew. Yeah, I'd say the production has a timeless feel, and that makes it even more fitting for a pioneer of Big Daddy Kane's stature. Lyrically, there is a big focus on the 5%er ideology, and there's some pro-black talk as well. Big Daddy Kane sounds extremely agile with the flow, just like he did for that verses with KRS. I think the timing for this also feels right, as we just had the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March from back in 1995, and this song channels those vibes for me somewhat. I was just making that connection when I heard the track. For some reason, it made me reflect back on that 1 million strong compilation, if y'all remember that one from 95. I really wish that was on streaming services as well, because there were some gems from that one. I remember that Where You At track and the remix. It had everyone on it from RZA to Sons of Man, Chuck D, Lord Jamar, and even Mobb Deep. Look, I don't want to sound trite, but what Nas is doing at Mass Appeal here has clearly influenced this shift that we have seen in which the OGs are comfortably active and attempting to restore the feeling. As a result, at the current moment, there is some of that fervor in the air. Some might feel that we are getting some of those glimpses from 1995 again. Perhaps you may be even getting a callback to that loud records era from the mid to late 90s. And that's kind of the sentiment that these three recent singles might give you. But let me know your thoughts below. It's your boy Mixtape Muff. I'm signing out. As always, it's peace and blessings. One.